when I spoke to Josie before the match, she was so cute. She said, I don't even want to think about what's going on over there in the TV pair. I'm just here to bowl, and at any time I think I could beat anybody in a one-game match. She looks like she's been here before. She doesn't look like a new bowler.
No, she said just the one appearance. However, she was at the U.S. Women's Open in her first appearance last year. This is her first Queens. She shot a 300. At the same house, by the way, the Euless Lanes in Euless, Texas, a few minutes from here, where we had qualifying for this event. Liz Johnson seeking a fifth straight. No trouble. Brother. She makes it look so easy.
You sat for about 3 minutes there in the break, and I think that's the hardest shot to make, is the one right out of the break. As you can see, she looks right down at the foul line when she throws it. Perfect. Splitting the 8-9. All 10 back.
Josie Ernest made one mistake, left one crack in the door, and at the moment Liz is tearing the door down. Got that kick on the 7. First woman ever to qualify for a television show against the men. She did that in 2005. 8-year member of Team USA.
Liz and Josie are both throwing the identical balls, a Columbia 300 Omen. The only real difference is Liz is drilled stronger with a taller pin. It makes it flare more. Lets her throw the ball a little bit firmer, and according to our CATS data, she's about 1.2 miles per hour faster on every delivery.
Josie's off a double.
Push, push, push.
Usually when you hear somebody say push, it's not a good thing. But that time it was.
Well, it isn't. It listens. And well timed. Down. She was down 44 there. Pulls it back to 34. She still has an opportunity here. She can shoot 256. Still a huge game, but as you can see there, the max score for Liz right at 290.
Yeah, well, somewhere Wendy McPherson's watching this going, oh, yeah? Well, I shot 714 against Liz and lost because she threw 769 at me in a 3-game set. So, can't ask for more than that.
A great shot. The difference in Josie's drilling is a little bit lower pin and a little bit weaker, so it doesn't flare quite as much, but it rolls hard in the mid lane, and she's getting to roll hard and then roll forward.
Let's go back to 2005 here, Chris. Here's Liz and bowling against Tommy Jones.
That was up in Wyoming, Michigan, and Liz beat me in the first round. The only 2 games I won against her was a 300 and a 290. Very nearly won the title that day.
Ooh, ringer. And a chance for Josie, although, again, Liz Johnson hasn't had one shot, the very first shot that didn't look good. Otherwise, everything else has been
looks
pretty
nearly
flush.
perfect. Watch that 6-pin right around the bottom of the 10. Technically, it's about a quarter to a half board light, but when you're standing at the foul line, it sure doesn't feel that way.
Doesn't look that way, that's for sure. We want you to become a fan of the USBC on Facebook and ask Chris Barnes a question. If we use your question on the air, you will win a free high-performance bowling ball courtesy of Storm Products. We'll answer the question a little bit later on in the broadcast. Go to the USBC Facebook page. So Liz's max is now 269. Here in the foundation frame, Josie, after the Open, well, you give her credit. Came back with 4 in a row.
All right, there's part of what's made her a 4-time major champion. The foundation frame coming off a spare. If she gets one more strike in the 10th, she can't be shut out. She puts herself in a situation where Josie cannot shut her out. She can strike out for 256. Liz is on a 249 pace. The first one in the 10th and 8 spare would guarantee her a win now.
Imagine throwing at 256 and not advancing. Uh-oh. Yeah. she won't be throwing at 256. That's a tricky shot. 127. Excuse me, 1-2-10.
Yeah, now every shot before this, she's been right around the 9th and a half to 10th board, and this hits the 8th board. And thanks to our CATS data, 6 going around there, leaving the washout. Difficult spare. She's going to hit the left side of the head pin.
She has no choice but to go for it, trailing by as much with Liz up on a strike in the 9th. Beauty. Well done. Her max is now 233.
She shoots this with her spare ball off the left side of the lane there. Head pin off the wall and just thumps it.
Deandra Asbady, who's waiting the winner of this match, has got to be going, uh-oh. It's whoever comes out of here is going to be an even tougher out than I thought.
Yeah, I don't think there's any easy outs in this tournament.
No. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, I agree. That's an accurate assessment from Josie Ernest of Nashville. Four-time gold medalist on Junior Team USA, 5 years on that team.
One more strike will put her in the 230s.
Just light enough.
Shows you sometimes how critical it can be. The shot ends up in about the right spot. 6, just like Liz, is right around the bottom of the 10. It was a half a board right at the last shot. Gives her a score of 223. And Liz will need, well, virtually nothing in the 10th frame to close this one out.
And Josie seems resigned to her fate, but again, this is her first queen.
She'll just need 3 pins in 2 shots.
She bowled at 223, Chris. It wasn't like she stunk the joint out.
No, I tell you what, you don't see that very often. Your first time on TV, you see way more 160 and under performances than you do just a really solid performance like that.
And you run into somebody who's just on her game at the moment.
Well, it seems that Liz is on her game really all the time.
Yeah, you know, as soon as I said that, I went, when is she off her game? I don't know of any time that's ever happened. What I like about her, Chris, is she's so enthusiastic about the game still. She's done it for a long time. She travels the world. She competes against any and all comers and does it with great gusto.
Yeah, her enthusiasm is a little bit, she masks it a little bit on the lane. She likes to stay low key, keep herself under control. And that, but you don't have to talk to her very long to understand her love for the game and her passion for not only how she plays it, but how she prepares for it.
So one more for a most impressive shot across the bow for the rest of the field here for 269.
A little ball change just to see what's going on for ransom demand.
268, Liz Johnson, an impressive start. Deandra Asbady awaits Liz Johnson in the next match for the USBC Queens Championship. The 4-time major winner was spot on from almost the very first shot. Coming up, a look at coaching in the USBC. Cowboys Stadium, Six Flags, so much in the Arlington, Texas area, and we are getting ready for match 2 of the USBC Queens. Everybody would like to improve their average, and using a USBC certified coach is critical to doing that. Liz Johnson doesn't need a coach, but perhaps you do. To get you started, here is our Storm coaching tip with USBC Director of Coaching Certification and Development, Carolyn Doran-Ballard.
One of the most common questions I get asked is, how do I get lined up on my house pattern? We're going to give you a simple practice exercise to help you add pins to your game. We're going to use 3 targets today. The first arrow, which is the 5 board, the second arrow, which is the 10 board, and the third arrow, which is the 15 board. Teresa Ross is going to help me show you how to get lined up. We have put a piece of white tape on the first arrow to make the target easier to see. Teresa is now lining up to hit the first arrow. As we could see, Teresa's ball crossed over and missed the 1-3 pocket. So what we've learned is if we use this target, our ball's going to hook a little bit more than we want it to. Teresa is now getting lined up to hit the second arrow or the 10 board. As you can see by that shot, the ball got down the lane a little bit further before it entered the 1-3 pocket. It went just a little high, so now we know there's a little bit more oil in that part of the lane. Teresa is lining up to hit the third arrow. What we learned from those 3 shots is that the 5 board hooked too much and the 15 board didn't quite get the ball to the pocket. Teresa chose the 10 board as her strike target. By adjusting her feet just a little bit, she found the perfect line to the pocket. Try this at home and it'll add pins to your average.
No doubt that Carolyn knows what she's talking about, but our next match features Liz Johnson, the number 4 seed, and number 3 seed, Deandra Esbady, the USBC Queens, bowling for a $20,000